In today's episode of Tony's Fords and Mustangs, we're going to talk about the first generation Thunderbird. This was a car that was manufactured from 1955 through 1957. It was an answer to Chevrolet's Corvette, which was an answer to the European sports cars that became popular in America post-war era. The Thunderbird proved to be more suitable to the American public than the Corvette, outselling it 16-1 in 1955. It became the flagship for Ford Motor Company. Its sales success was unquestioned. So why in 1958 did Ford redesign the Thunderbird, lengthen it, make it bigger, add a rear seat? Well, I'm going to definitively answer that question for you at the end of the video, but let's first dive into everything first-gen Thunderbird. Henry Ford II reaches out to a former General Motors executive, Crusoe, no, not that guy, Louis Crusoe, to help him develop a new car in order to compete with the Corvette. Crusoe works with Ford's chief designer, Frank Hershey, to create the Thunderbird. It's dubbed a personal car of distinction by Ford. It's lightweight for the time and boasts a standard V8 engine. Now, the Thunderbird is focused more on driver comfort than speed. It was not really a rival to the Corvette or the European sports cars of the day. It was more of a grand touring car, and this would be Ford's first GT.
From Ford Styling and Engineering Center in Dearborn, Michigan, comes another Ford First, a car designed for those who appreciate the distinctive in personal transportation, the new Ford Thunderbird. The Thunderbird features an extra-wide power-adjusted seat cushioned with foam rubber, a telescopic steering column that lets you tailor the wheel position to suit your own driving preference, and chrome-framed safety glass windows, power-operated if you like. To protect you against weather, there's a smart convertible top available and a sleek hardtop that lifts on or off with ease. When you drive this steel-bodied beauty, you'll feel an exciting surge of power, trigger torque power, for beneath the hood is the Thunderbird's special Y-block V8 engine. Like the thoroughbred it is, the Thunderbird responds to the slightest touch of your toe. See your Ford dealer tomorrow and ask about the new Ford Thunderbird.
Ford unveiled the 1955 Thunderbird at the Detroit Auto Show on February 20th, 1954. The first production car came off the assembly line on September 9th, 1954, and went on sale in October of 1954 as a 55 model. It sold quickly. 3,500 orders were placed in the first 10 days. Ford planned to sell only 10,000 units. However, 16,155 cars were sold with a listed retail price of $2,944. That would be the equivalent to around $35,000 today. The Thunderbird came standard with a removable fiberglass top. A fabric convertible top was a common option. The engine was Ford's 292 cubic inch V8. The exhaust pipes exited through twin bumper guards bolted to the rear bumper. The car used existing chassis and suspension designs from off-the-shelf Ford components. It was constructed using the body-on-frame technique, utilizing a version of the standard Ford design cut down to a 102-inch wheelbase. Available transmissions were either the Ford-O-Matic automatic or manual overdrive transmissions. The car featured four-way power seats, push-button interior door handles, a telescoping steering wheel, and a tachometer. It was designed to be a touring car and not a sports car. It was quite capable, however, attaining speeds of 100 to 115 miles per hour, depending on the transmission.
Ford presents the newest version of an automotive classic, the Ford Thunderbird for 1956. You'll recognize the beauty of line that in only 1 year has won the heart of all America.
For the 1956 model year, more trunk space was added. The spare wheel was mounted outside the rear bumper. The exhaust tips were moved to the ends of the bumper, and air vents were added behind the front wheels to improve cabin ventilation. To improve rear quarter visibility with the removable hardtop in place, porthole windows were available as a no-cost option. A 312 cubic inch V8 was added as an option. Production total for 1956 was 15,631 units.
Thunderbirds, United States Air Force jet demonstration team. Their F-100 Super Sabres are powered by Pratt & Whitney J57 engines, manufactured by the Ford Aircraft Engine Division. Now, here are three more super performers from Ford. The 1957 Ford Thunderbirds. You're looking at the latest version of America's most talked about car. For 57, Ford has shaped the classic Thunderbird profile into a completely fresh, completely distinctive style all its own. New swept-back tail fins and the longer rear deck add elegance to its lower-than-ever lines. These new dimensions give you more luggage room, too. Even with a spare tire inside, you get more luggage space than last year. You know, there's not another car like it in America.
The 1957 Thunderbird saw few changes. The front bumper was reshaped, the grille and tail fins were made larger, and larger taillights were added. The spare wheel was moved back inside the trunk, which had been redesigned to allow it to be mounted vertically. The side Thunderbird script was moved from the fins to the front fenders. A new option was the dial-o-matic four-way power seat that would move rearward when the ignition was turned off to allow for easier exit and entry. In addition to the standard 292 and the optional 312 V8 engine, two higher performance versions of the 312 were offered. One being a dual 4-barrel configuration, or one could opt for a supercharged version. That boosted performance to over 300 horsepower. 1957 sales were 21,380. This included 3 months of extra production because the 1958 models were late. The 1957 Thunderbird was the last two-seater Ford sold until the 1982 Ford EXP. So why did Ford lengthen the 1958 Thunderbird and add a rear seat? Well, you can thank Robert McNamara for that. And by the way, Henry Ford II actually did thank him. Now here's a side note to Robert McNamara. He was part of a group that Henry Ford II brought in to modernize things at Ford, to elevate the company. They brought in new techniques, such as computers for the first time. They used spreadsheets to look at trends. And these are things that today we consider pretty commonplace, but in the mid-50s, it was revolutionary. One of the trends that McNamara saw was that the Thunderbird was being held back by the lack of a rear seat. At least that's what his spreadsheets told him. So he added one and lengthened the car. And the result, the next 3 years, they sold 200,000 Thunderbirds. That's 4 times what they had sold in the previous 3 years. So for Ford, this was an overwhelming success story. It also developed a new car line, the personal luxury car. That was something that became very popular in the 50s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s, and into the 90s. Now, we don't see that car line anymore. It's one of my personal favorites. It's unfortunate they're no longer around. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That way, other people can see it. Also, maybe check out this video over here. It's on the Ford Torino. That was a very popular personal luxury car in the late 60s, early 70s. That video goes over all the options, features, and models. So thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.